illegal ham in the face. But bro, where's the banjo?
Some Cleveland sports shows try to give you hot takes, but only one can give you a big old piece of hot ham. Welcome to Illegal Ham to the Face. Talking all Cleveland sports. And don't forget our Fat Boy Tuesday, where we also ham it up with some fun food topics. Without further ado, let's serve up some ham. Here are the Ham Boys, Fatty, and Big Bry.
No Big Bry yet this week, but you got Fatty here. Welcome on back. It was a fun 2 weeks off. Thank you, everybody, for right now coming in. Comments. Justin already getting in here talking about me wanting to play for the WNBA, which has always been my dream. Hopefully it is the Cleveland Rockers. Hopefully they bring that back. But I do have a special guest on here tonight as a guest host. Of course, when we go on what I call a little vacay, news breaks everywhere. So we've had Browns news, we've had Guardians news, and we've definitely had a lot of Cavs news. So what we're going to do tonight, a little different, a little bit of speed up. We're not doing trivia tonight, but our show is still brought to you by Hero Q, Laker APA, also City Dogs Cleveland, where you can adopt an adorable pup like this dog right here. Look at that beautiful face. Up for adoption this weekend. I do believe they are having a merchandise sale. I think we have it on all of our socials. So please go check them out. And if you can, please help out a city dog. If you cannot adopt a city dog, volunteer, donate, do whatever you can to help out a city dog from City Dogs Cleveland. Like I said, quicker show tonight. Only shout outs I got is a happy birthday to my beautiful wife, which was on the 4th of July. All the fireworks that happened this weekend, and everybody's shooting them off. Glad everybody was safe, had fun. It's nice having the 4th of July on a Friday night rolling over. Also, shout out to Network 216 friend of ours, Nick Weary, placing 5th at the hot dog eating competition there at Coney Island. Put down 42 hot dogs. Of course, Joey Chestnut came back, so it's kind of hard to beat Joey Chestnut, but we will get into that for our fat boy, Justin. I say Cleveland Shockers. And here we go. Yep, we're off the rails already. And I am so glad that I'm bringing in my co-host tonight for this kind of debauchery. Jeez. All right, let's bring him in so we can start talking and have some fun tonight. From across the cast, from Network 216, from Zach Pod with an H, he is Zach Weiss. Welcome to the show, Zach. Thank you so much for joining us tonight.
Yeah, great to be here, and it's become a yearly tradition for me the last 4 years to make the hot dog eating contest the central viewing of the afternoon. And I will just say, we all knew Chestnut was going to win, but Bertolotti dropping 12 spots on his total from last year, certainly a big disappointment for me.
Well, we also had the other friend of the show, Mickey Sudo, when was there like her 13th pink belt?
Yeah, she doesn't lose, and we can't even pretend to act surprised, when she comes out and win. And what I would say about Nick Weary and everybody else that has not been Joey Chestnut or Bertolotti or that one loss in 2015, I posted about it last year when Chestnut had been defeated in that one other tournament. But I will say that it takes guts to go in. And these guys are all pros. They all win different things. They know it's the Chestnut event. They get out here. They give it their best. And at least in the introductions, they bring just as much energy as JC. So you love to see.
Okay, so Justin said Nick would have done better if he said not a hot dog was a taco. And here we go. There's one of our wonderful food topics that we get into. And shout out to the Lakers organization for want to kick out LaFlop. For that you don't know, Justin is a Bulls fan, a Michael Jordan fan, and he is not a fan of LeBron James. So we'll be getting LaFlops and everything else tonight as we talk. But hey, we are going to talk LeBron a little bit later. But
yes.
First off, we got some huge news from the Cavs. over that. We got a WNBA team first coming back to Cleveland. It's been announced it's going to be a couple years until it happens. Dan Gilbert and the Rocket Group cannot be more excited to have WNBA back here in Cleveland. The first stint did not go so well. What was your reaction to getting the WNBA team back here in Cleveland?
Yeah, so funnily enough, I actually interviewed Chastity Melvin, who was an all-star on the original Rockers team, the same day. In the afternoon, I was at the movies, and so I come out, and around the time that was about a 2-hour film, the movie ends, and I get all these notifications that the Rockers were coming back, and was talking with Chastity about what it would mean, what that all is, having no idea, meanwhile, that something was actually imminent. And I've been posting about it every year for the last 4 or 5 of just how great Rocker basketball would be. Hopefully, they do keep the name, same identity. Would be surprised if they didn't, especially with the Rocket group, Rocker. Is 5 minutes away, but I love it. I will be there, whether it's for the first home game or sometime during their first homestand in 28. I will make the trek down. There is no question. And I'm very excited. I think it's great for the W that they have expansion. We've already seen the Valkyries be a very competitive team with 0 players on the roster that were first options in the W last year. And they're 9-9. They pulled some big wins. They've even got an all-star in Kayla Thornton. So expansion in the W in a smaller league, and just like how we've seen it in the NHL, you expand and you can win immediately. The Rockers can come in and I think be a playoff team in year 1. And everyone's joking about Caitlin Clark, but she had a great visit to Cleveland during the Final Four very recently. So anything can happen.
Speaking of Caitlin Clark, she came out in the news past couple weeks, especially with a Indiana Fever saying it's going to be nice for a couple of years in Indiana. Do you think that she would actually turn, like, I would say most stars do, and want to go to a bigger market?
I think in the W, especially given the size of the league, turnover can happen a lot sooner. There really aren't many extremely long-term deals. Brianna Stewart's in her 3rd or 4th year with the Liberty already, and I'm pretty sure she's hasn't done more than a 2-year deal at any point. I think it's possible. Also, it's her 2nd season. They're still trying to construct the roster around her. And I think it's possible. Also, keeping in mind that the season is shorter, so you don't spend as much time where you play as you would in the NBA, by contrast with Cleveland coming back. I think that the best time of the year to be in Cleveland is the months of the W season. So I think it's possible, but I think in 2 years we can have a real assessment, because she doesn't really have she doesn't have a genuine connection there, but it can happen. And if it does, that's amazing. And if it doesn't, then let's be paying top dollar to see her play there once or twice a year.
I completely forgot, and somebody brought it up in the comments, and it was my brother-in-law. I forgot to do it because we do everything kind of weird here, but I forgot to bump this real quick. I'm sorry, Zach. We will get back on track after this. I always bump that before we start talking Cleveland, and I completely forgot about it. My brother-in-law called me out on it. So awesome for my family and friends. All right, so let's get into the Cavs, bud. We had a disappointing season, knocked out in the second round again, to an Indiana team that made it all the way to the finals. You and I have talked a couple of times in between then. Then we get this news that comes out with Darius Garland's toe injury. He's going to have surgery, obviously be out for a handful of months. Expand on this season, how disappointing it was, but also how devastating this toe injury was for Darius Garland.
Yeah, it was bad, man. And we knew this a while back. Well, we found out that this happened in the regular season. So the injury that he had actually was a re-aggravation, the one he suffered in the first round. I think it was game 2 or 3 against Miami. So it was always going to be an issue. We saw how he was moving. And given the fact that Ty Jerome wasn't playing that well and you needed more ball handlers on the court against Indy, and you weren't willing to toss Craig on the court because you didn't want to change too much, a lot went wrong. Pacers capitalized on the moment. You had a bad feeling with the way they finished the Milwaukee series with that crazy comeback in Game 5, that they would bring momentum in, and Tyrese hits another crazy shot. The Cavs implode, and it was a bad matchup all the way. Indy was a team where everyone just comes in and gets physical and plays hard. The Cavs weren't up for it. It was definitely devastating, but truthfully, I wasn't that shocked that they didn't make it to the conference finals, given that they had to go against Indiana, who's coming off their own conference finals berth. They won't have to worry about them next year in the same way. Get well soon, Tyrese Halliburton. Mm-hmm. But that's why they made some of the moves that we're about to talk about.
Yeah, so one of the moves they made, and I actually honestly love this move because I had nothing against Isaac Okoro. I had nothing at all. But you got a good defensive guy, but shooting-wise, it's not going to give you much. You take a gamble, you trade him for Lonzo Ball, who can score by himself and play defense. Only thing is, he's injured all the time. Explain to us here, because we don't get into nitty-gritty basketball that often, that this is kind of a better trade for the Cavs than what the Bulls got with Isaac Okoro.
So the one thing you're getting, health or not, is when Lonzo is on the court, you're getting a guy who can make the three, who's a confident shooter who takes more than 60% of his attempts from beyond the arc. And if you look last year, that number might have been even higher. The obvious downside, though, you can't ignore the health. 35 games last year, 0 each of the previous 2 after the devastating knee injury he suffered during his first year in Chicago. He was running a top 2 seed with DeRozan, Levine, Vucevic. He was making everything work for them if you go back a few years. So thinking about that, seeing what he did last year when he finally got back on the court, did miss a lot of games. He did miss 47 games. He hasn't played since February, but he's a winning player. You know, he unfortunately hasn't been in a playoff game yet, such is the case with most guys that the Cavs have had, being homegrown and young talent, with the exception of Big Don and DeAndre Hunter, who came back during that conference finals run. He's been injured a lot too. But I like the Lonzo trade. He shoots the ball over 38 to 40% from 3, plays good defense, and gets in the passing lane. He's 6'6", with a bigger frame than what Ty had. And on the note of Okoro, every postseason comes around and he just can't make a shot. Don't even look at his playoff averages if you want to stay sane. He is a very good player. He was clearly a very well-liked player. He started the Dog Award. And when you think back on Okoro's tenure, you think about grit. You think about the Brooklyn three-pointer. You think about the dunk over 3 Rockets, the random 33-point game against the Suns that came absolutely out of nowhere. But he was a locker room guy, similar to how Lamar Stevens and Jetty Osman weren't dominant basketball players, but they'd have good moments. But neither of them were able to help them when they were in the playoffs a few years ago. Neither guy is getting NBA minutes anymore, but they were big contributors to what they did. Okoro was a top 5 pick, and he was here from the 20-win season to the disappointing play-in drop to the Knicks series to 2 second-round appearances. So the hope for me with him is he goes to Chicago, they give him some minutes, and he can maybe play a little more comfortably on a team that isn't as offensively dominant as the one he's been a part of here.
Yeah, and I agree with that. It's just he didn't develop that outside shot that we needed from him. And when he did hit it, it was so inconsistent that nobody was even guarding him. They just kind of plugged up the lane and said, "Go ahead and shoot it, bud. You're not try to beat us that way." The other thing that's happened, Cavs wise, is we had a little Jerome and Merrill thing going on here. Ty Jerome is no longer a Cleveland Cavalier, but the Cavs re-signed Sam Merrill for I think it was like 3 years, $42 million.
4 years, 36. Same deal that Delly signed with the Bucks when the Cavs couldn't match 9 years ago. My favorite type of contract because it brings my favorite player back into the conversation. But
Delly is your favorite player?
All time.
Over Mark Price.
I didn't watch them. I love Mark Price. He is one of the nicest people I've spoken with, but I wasn't old enough to watch his career in real time. I've seen the highlights. I've watched a lot about Mark Price. He's got the best form, I think, in Cavs history. I don't think you can argue that. Mr. 3-point king in the 90s. But you don't watch a guy live, and you don't watch a guy that takes a team where the stars aren't there and they're not winning a ton. He gets undrafted. He works his way into the starting lineup. Then he becomes a finals hero, and then becomes part of a ring. Eventually comes back, has some good moments there. His career, to me, obviously didn't last that long, but he won me over immediately when he started getting minutes. Because that 13-14 season was a nightmare on 1,000 levels.
Yeah.
He is one of the only from game 1 to game 82 positives that you can really take from that wacky season, other than Kyrie's All-Star MVP and 3-point title.
Yeah.
So
all right.
That's my guy.
We got off track. I'm sorry. All right. So Jerome signed with, now I'm drawing a blank. Memphis. All right. Didn't seem like a lot, especially for Ty Jerome, but he's going to get more playing time in Memphis, I would imagine.
Yeah,
why do you think
30 games?
Why do you think the Cavs kind of soured on Ty Jerome? Was it just a money thing?
No, so he's getting the same money as Sam Merrill per year. So, and Sam Merrill, by the way, have to add, he's the highest paid 60th pick in NBA history. This also includes last pick, even when there were less teams. So if you go back 59, 58, last Mr. Irrelevant, Sam Merrill has the most money. He passed Isaiah Thomas with this contract. So congrats to him. So Sam Merrill plays better defense. If you pay attention, those analytics folks, he does play a lot more aggressive. They probably think he's better for the system than Ty Jerome, who kind of comes in and freewheels it, gets his 14 points in 19 minutes. Merrill, they probably feel like they might be able to play next to Donovan / Garland, maybe both. When they tried that with Jerome, Garland injury or not, it was an absolute disaster in the second round. I know they had to try it in game 5. Jerome was on fire in the second half, but it obviously did not work out. I'm okay with the decision. Also, happy birthday, Ty Jerome. He turned 28 today. Sam Merrill proved a lot in these last couple of years. He rode the bench with the Bucks as they won a title as a rookie. He bounced around to Memphis. He was here, he was there. And when he came up to Cleveland in March of 23, no one expected much. But as guys got hurt, he had to step in. He's had some marvelous shooting performances. He's played some really good defense. He's an energizer bunny. He just makes the right play, doesn't panic, doesn't turn the ball over very often. And I think they think he's a more valuable asset than just paying a guard that much. They took the chance on Lonzo, and they're going to go with Craig probably because they're both better defenders than Ty and can play more within a system than Ty. I do think in Memphis it is a better fit for him. John Morant's not going to play more than 65 games. And with the trade of Desmond Bane, there's going to be a lot of minutes for him to pair next to him and for him to play with Scottie Pippen Jr., who had a fantastic season last year. And Luke Kennard also gone. He's going to take some of those minutes. So better fit for him. It's funny because if this happened after the 23-24 year, you'd be like, oh, okay, Ty Jerome, 2 games in Cleveland. He'll just be a trivia answer. Who played the first 2 games and missed the next 80. But he had a magnificent season. He probably should have been 6th man of the year. But it is what it is. You know how it works in Cleveland. If you're a guard that wears number 2, you don't get multiple contracts. That number, since Kyrie Irving, you has been worn by Colin, by Lonzo, or by Colin, then by Jerome. It was previously worn by DeJuan Wagner, who was there for 3 years. It was worn by Flip Murray for half a season. All the guards just keep passing 2 on down the line. So it's only fitting Lonzo gets it. And to finish out, I'm happy for Merrill that he re-signed. I would have missed him, honestly, almost more than Jerome, just because as amazing as he was, you think about the ending and you think about overall contributions since they arrived, and Merrill's been doing it for 2 years. People can talk about how he has hot and cold, but when Jerome was 1 for 14, we wanted him to stop shooting. I don't think I've ever watched a Cavs game and said, Sam Merrill, please stop shooting threes. Because every time he gets it, look, he's not Kyle Korver. And there aren't many guys like that in the league like there used to be. There's a handful now. that run off screens like he does, catch and shoot, and just play like that. He's valuable. He spaces the floor better, and you don't need to take the ball out of Donovan or Darius's hands for him to get his. I think that's probably the biggest factor in why they made that decision.
Also, the Cavs aside Larry Nance Jr. Welcome back to Cleveland. I'm excited about this because legacy here, just the name legacy, but he has improved his 3-point jump shot. All right, he has improved that way. Also, health questions. Can he stay healthy through the season? With the moves that the Cavs have made so far, with Merrill, Ball, Nance, do you think they've done enough to get them over that hump that they need to get over? Or is it just a look in the mirror and be like, we have to do better?
I think they still need another center, a true center. Whether they decide to bring Love or Thompson back, if they think they have a shot to sneak Al Horford in there, I don't know. Probably not. It would be a dream if they could. I still think they need one more big, and honestly, it won't happen, but I'd love to see one of last year's two-ways get converted to a standard for that last spot, or maybe it's just going to be a training camp invite. Maybe one of these summer league guys just comes in and brings a punch. Larry does bring a lot. You do talk about health. He had a couple different injuries last year, and he also had some DNP coaches' decisions early, so he only played 24 games. He's never played 70 in a season. Last 4 years, he's played 46, 65, 61, 24. When he was previously with the Cavs, he did have some injury issues, but he had the best years of his career with Cleveland. He hasn't scored more than he did while he was here. Biggest thing he can do is play make, throw down dunks, spread the floor, and just be an extra facilitator. And I think pairing him with Mobley and Allen for 5 or 6 minutes each a night is going to provide an extra punch that they haven't had from that position next to them. And I also think this allows DeAndre and Strus to mostly stick to the small forward spot, which is very important for them. So because I just feel like Hunter at the 4 last year was horrible. I did not like it. I thought it was way too small. And also, if they are ever down a Mobley or an Allen, let's say Mobley's out, Allen is struggling, you could toss Larry to the 5 to close out some games over the course of the year now.
Yeah.
So, and then should they decide to take this crazy plunge and move Jared Allen, please don't, by the way, Cleveland, they have another option already on the roster that he's not as good, there's no question, but with Mobley moved to the 5, I would be okay for his stretch with Larry coming in. But Allen didn't miss a game last year. He hasn't missed a game since he got since the play. He hasn't missed a regular season game since the 5th game of the 23-24 season. He played the final 77, then he played all 82. So hopefully that's not a thing. And
it's okay with Allen. I get why people kind of want to get him out of here. I understand that. It's kind of weird for me with Allen because I can see what he brings to the team. I can see the energy he brings. I can see the nights where he can go off and he starts, I wouldn't say shooting good, but the alley-oop dunks, what he can do on the boards, what he can do down there. My only concern with Jared Allen is when it comes playoff time, he gets pushed around. And not like a little bit pushed around. Like I watched Miles Turner get down there, bully him around a little bit. We watched Al Horford do it sometimes with Boston. We've watched people push him around, and it's like, and it's nothing, but it's just like, I feel like the Cavs need a center that is just an all-around center. And I'm not saying that Jared Allen can't be, but he kind of needs to take a look in the mirror and be like, all right, I need to like man up and get down here, because it feels to me like when those big moments come where you need a big rebound and things of that nature, he just kind of disappears. And then when he disappears, our interior kind of goes to shit.
Yeah, I think he would probably agree with that assessment if he was listening. What I would say about Allen, though, is he is durable. You have him as an option, and hopefully now they, especially maybe with Larry back and some of these other guys, I'm hoping because the Pacers, they probably thought once the Knicks series was done, if they're going to lose, it won't be because they get out physicaled. I think the addition of Lonzo and then going Merrill over Jerome, they're pushing for more defensive intensity next season. And obviously, Okoro has to go for that because you need the two-way guys. I do think they'll be better, physically speaking. I think Mobley is also going to have a lot of doubters about his DPOI last year, as amazing as he's been. He's going to have to back it up again after not being able to slow Indiana down. The way that Indiana would make these shots every single first quarter made it very hard for the Cavs to ever get the rhythm, with the exception of Game 2, which let's not talk about that blown Game 2. Don't ask the Bucks about Game 1. Don't ask the Knicks about Game 1. Don't ask the Bucks about Game 5. Don't ask the Knicks about Game 1. Don't ask us about Game 2. Don't ask the Thunder about Game 1. Indy had an epic run. We were just in the way. The way they disposed of the Knicks, the way they took the Thunder to 7 and were one good Cav. Honestly, Indiana, this isn't the topic. If Halliburton stays healthy that whole game, I think he was about to erupt. He'd already made 3 threes in 4 minutes. Now he's out for a season. We lost to a team that nearly won the title. So I think when you look back at it, and I think you can take a lot of positives away, hopefully, from what happened, because now Boston's hurt, Indy's hurt. Our old buddy Mike Brown is the Knicks coach, so they now have a new staff they're going to be putting together. The Magic have to learn with a new group. The Cavs are the only team that have the same core fully. The Bucks don't have Dame on the roster anymore, even though he wasn't going to play. You think about all these teams in the East, and nobody's running it back similarly. And yes, Ty's gone, 6 man's gone, but everything else is the same pretty much with a little extra depth. So continuity is going to pay big time when we get to next season.
What do you think that Kenny is going to do with this team to get them more? I mean, it was his first year. We really didn't know what to expect. But, man, it was a great regular season and a historic one to be at that. And offensive-wise, what do you think he's got in store for next season for this team? And what do you think that the Cavs actually truly need to work on?
They need Max Strus to be healthy for Game 1 because they, as good as they were, that amazing winning streak to start the season, he didn't play any of those games. And he's your starter. He's one of your core guys. I think he'll be better integrated from the get-go. It was a different role for him last year than on the JB team. There's just a few less shots available for him night to night, and he certainly played last minutes as well. Everybody did. So it's more Strus integration. And with Garland potentially missing the beginning of the season, it'll be good to get Craig Porter another look because he really was never the guy for Kenny the way he was with JB when he get those minutes. And he was injured in the playoffs 2 years ago, or he probably would have gotten minutes. So really just that. We'll see Hunter out there doing fine. We'll see everybody else healthy with the exception of Darius to start. So just keep doing what you do. Don't think about the playoffs when you start the regular season, but make sure that you stay consistent. Because there was that stretch in the second half where the Cavs fell off a little. 64-18 is still unreal. But just stay consistent. The Thunder proved this with their title, how important it was to just stay up all the time and don't lose just because you want to rest guys, all these guys for a game. And if you're going to do that, seeing the wins matters. That's where I finished it.
All right. We got one more before we get into silly season. I can't wait to get into silly season with you. All right. Did you hear the Donovan Mitchell podcast appearance when he was talking about Evan Mobley and saying how Evan Mobley needs to demand the ball more and to be more vocal with this team and to be able to bring a different energy? This is going to be Evan Mobley's team. And Donovan kind of said, hey, yell at me. Give me the ball. Give me the ball. Can we see a beginning like they used to do with the big three with LeBron, Kyrie, and Kevin Love? Can you see them start feeding that ball down to Evan Mobley right at the beginning of the gate like they did with Kevin Love to see what they got and then kind of work off of that?
Absolutely. I think with Mobley, Donovan's right. He's got to command the ball. He's got to want it. And there have been games where he's had these good first quarters. But truthfully, if Evan can just get to his first rest period with maybe 8 to 10 points every couple of nights, I think that's perfect. He doesn't need to score more than 20. but he can't be having games with 9-10 shots as he did for most of the postseason. I think
Mhm.
early touches for Evan will go a long way, and I do think it's possible. And we won't get a 35-point first quarter. Shout out Kevin Love against Portland. That was nuts. But Evan has the capability with the more confident jumper. Just still wish he can get a slightly quicker release on it. Maybe that's the last evolution for him. But he does so much on both ends. And if he's going to be doing all that on defense, get him his points early so they have to keep him on as the game goes on.
Does he need to rely on his mid-range a little bit more instead of trying to do too much ball control?
I mean, thinking about how the finals went with Jalen Williams, Shea, Chet, Siakam, McConnell, Mathurin, all these guys that were living in the mid-range kind of served as a nice reminder that DeMar DeRozan's not crazy. And all these guys that can score from mid-range can score. A bucket's a bucket.
Yeah.
I think if you can get your mid-range, that's great. And it's funny, every time we watch I've been watching all these old highlights, and there's these funny accounts of average NBA player. So I see Brandon Bass highlights all the time, and I remember how he'd always shoot those 13-footers. How Varejao, remember when he first expanded his range back in the day. I can go name for name. Nene had a nice mid-range game. Kenyon Martin mid-range game. All these other bigs.
Zadrunas.
And he eventually got the 3-point green light. I remember that overtime against the Kings when he made 3. But not to sidetrack here. Thinking about it, to round it out, I would love to see Mobley take a bit more in the mid-range or even just work on that floater. Donovan's handle through the lane is insane. It's so nice. They're going to miss that with Jerome, but maybe big men don't generally take floaters, but we'd love to see him try because he's going to be able to get it up over everybody. Kind of learn from Hartenstein how he does it. He's the only big man that I can think of off the top of my head. There's others, I'm sure, with just the floater. Or maybe watch tape of the Valanciunas hook shot, the Robin Lopez hook shot, his old teammate. There's a lot to be learned about playing in the paint like that and not having to necessarily bang every time.
Just kick it old school with Kareem. Just do that little jump little sky hook, and you'll be good to go.
That'll do it.
All right, let's get into silly season, bud. Somebody opted in back with a certain team for $52 million. They don't know what they're doing, but man, everybody and their brother here in Cleveland is just salivating. Like, he's not happy there. The Lakers aren't happy. We could get LeBron back here in Cleveland. Blah, 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 blah. It's silly season. It's summer season when that happens. But if he opted back in for $52 million, he's not going to go anywhere unless the Lakers do something. Plus, he has no trade clause. Now, with that being said, I'd never shut the door with LeBron because crazy things have happened, as we've seen through our entire lives here in Cleveland.
11 years ago.
Do you think that there is a crack in the door where we could possibly move some pieces and LeBron come back home for his, let's just say, swan song?
Well, not this year. You have to trade Hunter, Garland, and Allen to make it work. I wouldn't do that.
LeBron wouldn't do that.
No, LeBron is LeBron. LeBron can do whatever he wants with Cleveland, But if you have to give up an all-star, a durable big man, and a sixth-man runner-up to get a 41-year-old to kind of fill in a position of need, but tear down what you've built up over these last 4 or 5 years, I wouldn't do it. Because, yes, they haven't made a conference finals yet. I think now, if this first half of the season, and it probably won't be in season, but if the first half of the season doesn't go the way you want, and you're not at the top where other teams can pass you, then maybe you have to think about it. But that doesn't mean you do it. I wouldn't do it. I would have to wait another year. I mean, it would be amazing to see him come back. We're running out of years for that to happen.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't think you can tear it down like that. And I also don't think that they would tear up 2/4 of the core for memory lane and a chance at a 1-year window.
But technically the Cavs have let's just say a 2-year window with Mitchell here.
Yes,
So
But LeBron's not. I don't think He's also hasn't been durable the last couple of years. You have to keep that in mind. If you're going to trade 40%, and he's coming off a serious playoff injury too at age 41. He's still going to be very good.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I don't think it's the move. It would be fantastic, but I think you shouldn't let's stand pat on this one.
Okay. I like it. My brother-in-law says you, LeBron, and Bronny. Just, yep.
Space Jam 2.
There it is. God. Oh, what a horrible movie that was.
It had its moments, but it was not great.
I had a couple moments. Like, I was like, okay, I liked it.
It was cool seeing Ernie, but that,
Yeah. All right, bud. Let's get off the Cavs. All right. I told you I would try to do a little time crunch so you can get out of here because you're with family and everything else. But let's get some fatness in us. Let's get fat with Fatty. Let's do some Fat Boy Tuesday.
And now, it's time for Fat Boy Tuesday.
One of our favorite segments here on Illegal Ham to the Face, where we get to talk some food and have some fun. It was 4th of July weekend. Barbecues were out everywhere. Hot dog contest. Everything else. God, what a great time summertime is, especially on the 4th of July. Hot dog eating contest. Obviously, Joey Chestnut won again. 70 hot dogs. Unreal. It floors me to watch that man eat. And just, I don't know how he does it. Like, I'm in awe of, and it's not just hot dogs, it's everything. Like, I watched him eat 200 Big Macs, and just like, man, you do that to yourself. How have you not blown out an artery or had a stroke throughout any of this? But he does it again. He's back. What'd you think about Joey Chestnut and the hot dog eating contest this year?
Yeah, I mean, he is just a disposal. And I think what a lot of people that watch this contest every year don't know is that these guys do this year round. Major League eating is a big thing.
Oh, yeah.
They go around the country and they eat pretty much until oblivion.
Mm-hmm.
They keep going. They keep going. And I can't say it's pretty to watch. I don't think anybody can say that. But what you can say is it is entertaining. It's enjoyable. The Shays Rick and George do an amazing job putting it together. One is the MC and the other is a color commentator. It's good analysis. The intros are over the top. And I think it's the aura of the people. And yes, I'm using the word. It's word 25. Of course, the Cavs having Donovan Mitchell makes that word an easy use. But it's the energy they bring. It's contagious. I love it. When I started watching the contest regularly beginning in 22, you really don't know what to expect. And we remember 2 years ago, the rain delay, and Joey Chestnut's like, we're not canceling it this year. He comes back out. He wins again. It was fun to see him. The Kobayashi battle I did watch on Netflix last Labor Day weekend. It was enjoyable. And, other than Matt Stoney in 2015, no one's beaten this guy in 17 years on the hot dog stage. So I think when he retires, they're going to call it, the Joey Chestnut July 4th hot dog eating contest. Joey Chestnut, Nathan's contest. I think that's an easy win for both of them. It's incredible, and honestly speaking, these guys do train as hard as any athletes in any of the 4 major sports in North America do, because to keep your body right, to do this, the working out that goes in, the discipline outside of the contest that has to go into this, it's genuinely incredible, and I know that some of these eaters are couples. And remind me, Mickey Sudo is married to Nick Weary, and they have kids. I know that.
Yes.
But they have healthy kids, and they're both professional leaders.
Mm-hmm.
That tells you about the regimen and that you can still do this and have a family and do everything. But Joey Chestnut's incredible. It's funny because when you think about these guys, maybe the only athletes that people don't seek out just when they're out might be these guys unless they know them from the contest.
Mm-hmm.
But every July 4th, they show up on our TV and they provide, at least on the hot dog stage, Badlands is Mr. Lemonade. But
Man.
For 10 minutes, they just devour hot dogs. Even the worst in the contest eat 4 a minute. Like, we're talking Nick Query. Oh, he only ate 42 hot dogs. He got 5th place. Bro, 42 hot dogs. I will eat 42 hot dogs maybe across 12 or 13 major league games over the course of 3 or 4 years. So, I mean, good for you, Nick Query.
We had him on the 216 show, and I actually met him in Parma. He comes out here for the Parma qualifier. And just a great, just chill dude. It was hilarious. We were sitting there talking and everything else. And, like, we watched the setup for the qualifier. And, like, I had my wife and my kids there. We were talking to Nick off to the side and everything. And I see them start bringing the plates of hot dogs out. And this is just a qualifier in Parma. And I'm going, damn, that's a lot of hot dogs. So my kids have never seen this. So when they saw them start to go, my son's like, is he choking? I'm like, he is not choking. Like, it's great. Like, one of the guys from the Dude Network always said, Tony from the Dude Network, he said it's great for like the first minute. You're just going to town. You're like, wow, they're still really going eating more hot dogs. Yeah, okay. But I mean, it's amazing what they do. And like James said, how can he eat so much and be so skinny? I know Nick Weary's workout regimen. He works out all the time. He is an actual personal trainer. They know their body. They know what goes into what they do to eat and everything else, what to stay away from, how to prep for a contest coming up. Because Nick not only came here, ate 43 hot dogs in Parma, the very next day went to a donut eating contest in New York. So not only 43 hot dogs here in Parma at 6 p.m., the very next day in New York eating donuts. Like
yeah, it's funny if you tell that to an 8-year-old, a 10-year-olds when they're getting the junk food limitations.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you're gonna they are, and then they see it's like, wow, they're really living the dream. Flying, traveling to do this. You're not just doing this in the backyard or at a friend's. You are doing this nationally. People are watching this. You are getting paid to do this. It's incredible.
All right, so now we're talking hot dogs, but what do you like on your hot dog?
So it does vary, and I will also add for context. If you're looking for food recommendations, do not ask Zach Weiss. That is what I will lead with. My go-to is actually a plain hot dog. However,
nothing on it, just plain hot dog.
There's a bun, a good pretzel roll every now and again. I think it depends.
Right.
Where I grew up, there is a good hot dog stand, and they've got all the variety dogs. And I've had the ones with Frito, onion, and chili. It's kind of a nice trio of it. Never been a fan of the cheese dog personally. I don't think it depends. Honestly, I think the best hot dog you can debate. I'm probably gonna get thrown off the show. I could say an occasional corn dog hits better than any hot dog you can get. Oh, it depends how often you have it. If you don't have a lot of corn dogs, you might just start thinking about corn dogs. And but I will also say that I've been many a time to Coney Island. I don't live too far. Memorial Day went down to the original Nathan's. I will say had a plane. But it hits. I don't know. I'm just not a ketchup guy. I'm not a huge condiment guy with anything.
And here's Justin. Calzone.
My girlfriend has the whole list, the comprehensive list of what's a taco and what's this and the cube rule. And it came up again. We're having a discussion, a couple people last week, and it came up again. And I just watched. She memorized it. We got a whole thing. So anytime we go for the calzone hot dog, the sandwich, whatever, ravioli is this, cereal is a soup. We can go all day. But I'm a plain guy, but I don't get tired of hot dogs. Honestly, and I see you, Chris. I see you with the spicy brown. Honestly, just give me a good, decent ballpark hot dog. Let me not finish it in 3 bites as I usually do, and so I don't have to go back and get a few more to actually be full. But just give me a good hot dog from a game. So the old school. Give me the tinfoil. Hit me with those good deals. That BOGO night. Already been to 2 BOGO nights this year, 2 different stadiums. Hit me with the BOGO. We're out here. We're good.
You got to come over to Cleveland when we do dollar dog nights.
I got into the one in Philly earlier this year. I need to get to the Cleveland one. I haven't been to a Guards game yet, but that's also because I don't live. Contrary to popular belief, I have the show. I've had it for 7 years. There has to be a crossover with the Cavs and the Guards in the regular season. Once that happens, I'll make a whole weekend out of it. I'll get both.
You'll come here. I'll get you a po' boy. Get a little Polish boy.
Okay.
You'll be fine. We'll get you some Sugardale hot dogs, dollar dog night. We'll go to the Cavs game, watch the Cavs game. It'll be a great time.
Let's do it. 216 at its finest right there.
All right. Okay. One more food topic, and then we will switch over to our top 3, and we'll get you out of here. All right. When you think of 4th of July, when you think summertime, obviously it's hot dogs, it's grilling out. What's a food that you like to grill out with, whether it be burgers, steaks, ribs? What do you like to eat?
I can go for some good ribs, honestly. And ribs are one of those foods that, unlike the burger and the hot dog, you can literally get anywhere. You can grill it anytime. I feel like ribs are more of you need a reason. You need more of an occasion. Mm-hmm. They're heavy. Those are heavy. They're messy, but they're great. I'd say a nice rib can go hard, I think, on July 4th. Hot dog is good. Honestly, also, hot dogs work all summer to me. And the burger doesn't feel like a 4th of July thing. Unless you're specifically at a big barbecue, or if you're grilling for a small group, I feel like it's one or the other. But you go to a big barbecue, especially on the 4th, and you got 30, 40 people, you're grilling everything, then I'm going to town. But if we're picking one thing, I'd probably pick ribs.
All right. Justin said Conn's potato chips, which I gotta get you some Conn's and send them to you.
Is that a Cleveland brand? Is that a local brand?
That's kind of it's a local brand, but it's more of like a Columbus brand. Okay. But probably one of the best potato chips you've ever had. Like it. Mm-hmm. And Justin is a vegetarian, so he said a grilled portobello mushroom.
I do like a good mushroom. I will also say that similarly, I've had a couple of great bean burgers and Impossible burgers. I'm not vegetarian in any way, shape, or form, but I actually really do enjoy them. So I go both ways with it.
Yeah, with a bean burger, like, okay, I've had them, and I'm not saying that they're bad, but when you get it and you don't realize what it is, because it actually does look like a hamburger when it comes to you, and you take a first bite into it thinking that you're going to get a different flavor than what you got, it hits you weird, and you got to take a step back, and I'm like,
It does. The last one I had was on Wednesday. It came on an English muffin. Honestly, it was good. I will say I haven't had as many. Usually, I feel like it's more. A lot of people get them for lunch, or you'll make it for dinner. But I've had a few. I've had grocery store brand. I've had restaurant brand. It does hit you different, but I do think it's good, just as an alternative sometimes. But I know I've not had your black bean burger. I see. I've not. I have not. So I'd say I can't compare. I'll be my 6th or 7th between black bean, Impossible, the works. But last chip comment I have is did you happen to get your hands on the Darius Garland chips when they were in store? Because I could not, and PLB went out of business. They're not advertising anymore.
I did not.
I didn't either. Missed opportunity both ways. Wish they came out one more time. I'd buy them this time.
Oh, we'll give them away on 216, just having fun with them.
Yeah. Do a taste test with it, and then you get Darius.
All right, let's do our top 3 and let's get you out of here, buddy. Ready?
All right, let's see it.
Now, I know Brian and I have probably done this top 3 before, but with a new guest on, I like to get their perspective. And we're going to do top 3 summertime drinks, non-alcoholic. All right, we're taking the alcohol out of it. It's summertime. what are your top 3 summertime drinks? And to give a little perspective of what we're going to do, I will go first.
Okay.
Give you a little base. Number 3 for me is lemonade. Now it's got to be fresh lemonade though. Like when you're going to the festival, it's fresh squeezed right in front of you. So much sugar that your teeth start smacking in the back. That kind of lemonade.
Yeah.
Number 2. Now this is where I get nostalgia. The Hugs barrels. As a kid, those Hugs barrels that you had on ice in a cooler, and you just run up, grab a Hug, and chug it, and then go back. Cannot go wrong with Hugs barrel. And number 1 for me, and it always is, I'm kind of like Uncle Si. I got to have my tea. Iced tea. And especially if you get a sun tea. Have you ever had a sun tea?
Sun tea.
The sun actually brews the tea.
I've probably had it without being told that that's how it was made, but I've definitely had at least sun adjacent tea.
Oh, that's one of the favorites of my family. You get a glass jar, throw the tea bags in, just let it sit outside, and it just does its own. Okay. Pull it, and you're good to go. What about you, Zach? What are your top 3 summertime drinks?
All right, so my honorable mention, because it can't count, would be a great glass of H2O. Cheers.
All right.
Number 3, and I've been, you see Hugs everywhere now. It's one of the only things that transcends every grocery store will carry Hugs. I've been seeing it everywhere. All right. Number 3, let's go with, I'll put lemonade at number 3. I don't have it that often, but if we're getting to 95, 100 degree territory, I think a good lemonade, especially when you're by the water, good lemonade, will come out and do you some justice. And we're going to have the same 3 and 1. I just got to try to change my number 2. All right, I guess I'll give you a nostalgic pick. I remember my juice box days. I remember the Juicy Juice.
Oh, yeah.
Whether we could go Capri Sun on this, we could just go to whatever grocery store you go to, store brand, juice box. Back when you have to learn about where the straws go. Truthfully, the struggle with the straw and the insert. And then with the Capri Sun, if you put the straw in the wrong way, it leaks and you can't drink it. So I'll just go general juice box. I don't even know how to. And I will put iced tea at number 1 just because it depends on what you want. It's the only drink you can get that's as refreshing with no flavor as it can sometimes be with a lot. Because sometimes you just don't want anything. You just want plain black tea with ice. So it does you in. If you want something sweet, add a little flavor, toss some honey, put some little fruit in there. It's perfect. You can't go wrong with iced tea. And I've definitely been on a bigger iced tea kick of late. I try to go iced tea over lemonade. There's enough sugar as is, but we're talking lemonade. And when you get lemonade, whenever you buy lemonade, the key is also do not read the back label.
No. The amount of sugar in that will just make your heart flutter.
Correct. But I'll take a good iced tea, maybe a little honey in there, stir it up, and it's perfect. Nice big 16. I'll try to get a 16-ounce cup. It'll last you a while. I go water when I can. That is my go-to. But if I had to rank 3, non-water, I would go. But sweetened iced tea is the obvious number 1. And then I would say, everyone agrees that sweetened tastes better. But unsweetened is still a good move. I had that last night. When I was dinner, I had a nice unsweetened iced tea. Had 2 of them. So,
yeah, when I'm with my family, my sister makes a sweet tea that compares to none. It's just, but normally I do unsweet tea, and if I do add a little sweetener, it's not a lot. I like green tea, so I drink a lot of green tea. So, Justin, thanks for that one. Honorable mention, and I completely forgot about that, Kool-Aid. Man, you cannot go wrong with Kool-Aid.
Yeah.
On a hot day, just 2 cups of sugar and just everything bad for you.
The Hawaiian Punch, generally, just the basic.
Oh, I forgot about Hawaiian Punch too.
Yeah, you can honestly, you get that anywhere. And then one more honorable mention. It was never a thing for me, but everyone remembers when the guy went viral for the ocean cranberry spray. Crayon on the longboard. that video reminded everybody that ever drank juice how good juice is. Because no one, I wouldn't. The only juice I think you could argue as like a nice summer drink would probably be a nice glass of apple juice or maybe the cranberry juice. But you have to get the big one, get some ice in a glass, and it'll be the same amount of refreshment as a lemonade would be. And one more thing, by the way, for me, is we had an NBA trade since we came on.
Shut up.
And
To the Cavs.
No, it's not our trade. But it's an important trade. The Spurs got Kelly Olynyk, and now they have 3 good centers. So, honestly, I think that's an amazing trade for them. And that's nothing to do with the Cavs. It's a 3-player trade. They traded 2 of their first-round picks that didn't pan out and a future second. But so that means a lot of Cavs fans instantly dislike the Spurs, but now they have 3 good centers. And I think, finishing on the basketball note, I am very excited to watch the Spurs. And when the Cavs do play the Spurs, they'll be booing Olynyk and dropping their jaw when Olynyk is throwing Wembanyama lobs with Dylan Harper and De'Aaron Fox winking at the bench.
Kelly Olynyk stole a championship from us. Stole. What a dick.
No, we can't forget that one. I was at the game before the injury in Boston, and then the injury happened.
Stole. There was a flagrant, that would be the most flagrant foul ever, but no, it was a basketball play.
Yes.
It was not a basketball play. I seen that shit in a WWE ring.
Makes you lose your appetite for summer drinks, doesn't it?
That's all right. Zach, thank you so much for joining me on Ham. Thanks for co-hosting. Go catch him at Across the Cast at Zach with an H pod.
Yeah, and there's more to come with that. There's going to be a few guests and be some more. Anyone that's interested in books, I have a fiction, some more fiction authors coming up. Had a Maine Celtics G Leaguer coming on in the next couple of weeks. There's a few other people that will be coming on, and some others, some potential big names in the works. Very, very much on the DL, just waiting for some responses, but people that should be able to come through. So people that you guys have heard of. As just whatever your background is, you will have heard of some of these people. So check out at Zach with an H pod on Twitter, Instagram, and check your YouTube, Spotify. It is coming, Zach with an H pod, where we just talk about identities.
Hey, and guess what? You can always catch his stuff on Network 216 too. So he's always there. Zach, thank you so much for joining me. We're here at the end of the show. Cannot thank you enough. Cannot thank enough our troops and first responders for everything they do. Appreciate all of you. Also, City Dogs Cleveland, please go adopt a dog. Like I said, this weekend they got a merchandise sale going on. It is up on all of our socials at Ham Illegal and at Network 216. So go help them out. And like we always say at the end of the show, we're definitely uncorked, unloaded, and we're out. We will see you guys next Tuesday. It's great to be back. See ya.